You shouldn't be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
I'm being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
Adele Andaloro says the intruders moved in about 6 weeks ago. They changed the entire front door and lock of her home.
I don't own this.
Exactly,
Yes,
she does.
Yes, but then once again, you should know how the law works.
I do know how it works.
There's rules to the as you got to go to court and send me to civil court.
The woman managed to get inside and lock the squatters out, but the men stormed back inside.
That's not going on.
Call the police again.
The men called the police on her and got her arrested for the illegal eviction.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. We need to go to court.
They claimed they've been renting the property since October but failed to provide any documentation.
By the time that someone does their investigation, we'll be well over the 30 days, and this man will have stolen my...
Has anyone seen the TikTok of this guy back here? He's got this great idea for illegal immigrants that they can go and squat inside of houses and that they will get the rights for it because of certain laws that we have here in the United States of America. This is absolutely insane.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir una casa en United States.
Look at the home here behind me in a very nice neighborhood here in Queens. This $2 million dream home here was supposed to be a sanctuary for a retired New York couple who purchased it 4 months ago. But Joseph and Susanna Landa's dream quickly turned into a nightmare when they discovered a squatter living inside their brand new home. The couple bought the 3-bedroom, 4-bathroom home last fall after the death of its longtime owner. And now they say they've been unable to move in because the former owner's so-called caretaker, Brett Flores, is refusing to leave.
Squatters are taking full advantage of New York's generous laws toward squatters, better described as thieves who basically game the system and screw over the Americans who have poured their life savings into the homes that they're hoping to live in. Now we'll get back to this particular story in just a moment. But first, news broke recently about a woman in Queens, New York, who was arrested for changing the locks on the home she owns following a scuffle with squatters. Now, it all started when Adele Andaloro, who inherited her home from her parents after they passed away, discovered that someone had changed the entire front door and the lock to her home. Not only is the squatter literally living rent-free in a $2 million home, he's also renting out rooms and making money off of someone else's property, property that they are unable to move into, even though, I mean, can you imagine the down payment? $2 million home. Yeah. I don't want to say things I'm going to regret, so let's, you take.
Snowbirds to landlords to folks looking to sell their home after they move away. There are times when squatters settle into those empty homes.
And getting someone out can be lengthy and costly. West News' Dave McDaniel was on hand as Florida's governor signed a bill to aggressively attack this issue.
Squatters turned the house across the street from us into a drug and prostitution house.
Asked to share his ordeal about how squatters impacted his entire Orange County neighborhood.
The police hands were tied. This was a civil matter that had to go through the courts.
The neighbor says his issue with squatters across the street lasted 5 solid months. A long time when there's no end in sight.
We were told to leave the squatters alone, ignore them, don't engage. As a law-abiding and tax-paying citizen, we were told to stay in our homes while these criminals carried on.
We are in the state of Florida ending the squatter scam once and for all.
Over the years, we've seen how squatters can take over a property, trash it, at times using utilities billed back to the rightful owner, degrading the entire area nearby.
And someone moves into it and turns it into a drug den, trap house, or brothel.
Now, with the governor's signature on a new bill, the law will have a quicker way to respond.
You are not going to be able to commandeer somebody's private property and expect to get away with it.
Squatters actually is a very, very kind term. These are criminals and con artists that need to be held accountable.
The Florida Sheriff's Association ready to do some good.
Sheriffs from across the state will be able to provide the adequate resources and support for victims of these crimes and homeowners to preserve their property.
Dave McDaniel, West 2 News.
The new law doesn't officially take effect until July 1st.
Police seen carrying suitcases out of a Hollywood Hills home. A squatter and her dog confronted by real estate agents who say 5 to 6 people were living in this vacant home. The husband and wife realtors responsible for this listing say,
"We came back to do an open house right after the new year and the lockbox was cut off of the house."
They quickly realized someone was living inside the home and called police. Randall Smith says this woman claimed to be an OnlyFans model who was renting a room in the house under a fake lease created by a man who was not at the house when police showed up.
They fully moved in there. They had suitcases, bags, they had food in the fridge, food cooked on the stove.
A quick walkthrough of the house revealed
there was a lot of like dog poop and just like the beds were all messed up. There was a lot of trash everywhere. Just it kind of seemed like someone was like irresponsibly living there.
Randall Smith making these recommendations tonight.
Get a ring, get a security system, get something that you're having security at your house and getting people on video. And secondly, something that I've loved is like the Nextdoor app.
10:30, squatters destroying property and moving into empty homes, refusing to leave. It's a growing problem in Southern California. Now there's a possible solution, a way to squash the squatters. He calls himself the squatter hunter, and for a price, he can get rid of the unwanted guests.
Chris Wolf is live in the Hollywood Hills with a look at how he does it. Chris.
Yeah, Micah and Sam, it's an incredible story. He has dedicated his life to helping homeowners clear their properties of squatters, and he's fighting to change the laws that allow these intruders to do what they do. He recently removed a squatter from a home here in the Hollywood Hills. The victim, an elderly woman. So meet the squatter hunter.
What do you have to say for yourself? You gonna talk to me now?
Tonight you want to talk?
Yeah,
have a civil conversation?
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock in the night? Are you serious?
Caught in the act, caught on camera, squeezing out squatters.
I have a lease for this property.
I don't give
You've heard and seen the horror stories, many here on KTLA. Intruders gaining entry or breaking into unoccupied homes and residences, in some cases mansions, throwing wild parties and living rent and care free. The number of cases seems to be growing, and one man close to the situation says many offenders are not necessarily homeless, but rather career criminals looking for easy street. Well, now they've met their match.
I'd say, you know, anti-squatter activist, squatter hunter, squatter remover, you know, just do what I have to help people get their squatters out.
Some people might call you a type of exterminator.
Yeah, well.
57-year-old California native Flash Shelton is devoting his life to squashing squatters and helping homeowners.
But I am impressed with the speed in which DeSantis did something about this. We're seeing stories out of New York and California where lawmakers are just sitting on their asses and doing nothing about it. And I think it's wrong. I think that they shouldn't just sit around and do nothing as these stories continue to flood the press. But I also want to note, we don't know how widespread squatting really is. Judd Legum in his Substack Popular Info addressed how there is really no organization keeping track of how widespread squatting is. And so I don't want to treat this as if it's a widespread issue because we don't know how widespread it is. But nonetheless, for the few who might be victimized by this, there should be legal protections so they're not victimized by this. And I'm glad to see that Florida did something right in response to this issue.
We did it, Joe.
A quick reminder, vote